Hi guys, my name is Trinity, and if you are here, you're here to see me talk about some books. Today, I am going to take a page out of Becca from Becca and the Books. She does a video called Self Destructing Books, and I thought that's something that I need to do, especially with the Unhaul project I've got going on this year. This is a great way for me to really look at the books that are on my shelves and set a time frame, because there are so many books on my shelves that I've either kind of lost interest in, or I feel like I'm just never going to get around to reading them. You guys might have seen them whenever I did my unhaul with me, but I found 10 that I'm going to put on a list that if I do not read within a year, I am going to unhaul them. And so let's start the list. And again, at the end of this 1 year period, I will check back in with you guys and let you know what I have read, what I'm getting rid of, and all of that good stuff. So the first book. Also, let's ignore this little thing going on down here. I don't really ever break out, but for some reason I am right now. Anyway, so I showed this book and actually talked to one of the people in my Discord, Miss Tessa. She told me that this is one of her favorite books. So I'm putting this on the list so that I get around to reading it. That would be Gilded Cage by Vic James. I talked a little bit about this in that video and how this is our world reimagined, but she was telling me that it's so cool and that she really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a shot. It says, in modern day Britain, magic users control everything: wealth, politics, power, and you. If you're not one of the ultimate 1%ers, the magic elite, you owe them 10 years of service. Do those years when you're old and you'll never get through them. Do them young and you'll never get over them. This is the darkly decadent world of Gilded Cage. The families have only one thing in common. Each has 3 children, but their destinies entwine when one family enters the service of the other. They will all discover whether any magic is more powerful than the human spirit. So, cool. I do think that this is one I'm still interested in. I did say that in that video, that I've had this for so long, I might as well just read it. But then when Tessa said that she liked it, I was like, okay. So I'm putting this on the list in hopes that I do actually read it. Most of these are on here because I want to go ahead and find out if I will like them, but they're also on here because they've been on my shelves for too long. So looking forward to seeing if I do actually like this one. One that has hit multiple TBRs of mine, and I just keep glossing over it, not really sure why. Like, I don't know why this is the one that doesn't call to me or doesn't call to me as often, but that would be Roses and Rot by Kat Howard. I actually have talked to a couple people who have read this based on the fact that I had put it on TBRs past, and they enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that by the end of this year, or by the end of this 12-month period, I will have read this and I won't have to unhaul it, because I am still interested. But this is about an art retreat and 2 sisters going to this art retreat to escape their mother. And the 2 sisters kind of end up battling it out in order to escape their past as well. So I think it sounds pretty cool. So let's hope that the spark is still there within the year and I actually pick it up. One that just has to face the chopping block because I've had it for forever and still have not read it. That would be Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher. Yes, it's on here in hopes that I will read it. Have not lost interest in this one, but for some reason I never gravitate towards it either. So I need to read it or get it off my shelves, find it a better home, because so many people have loved this. And if I'm not going to read it, then I might as well let it go, like I said, to someone who is going to enjoy it. But this will self-destruct, as Becca says, in 12 months. So this next one, it was a little bit of FOMO why I bought it, because everybody in the Discord was talking about it when I purchased it. And then I kind of lost interest a little bit. But this is a story about an astronaut written by an astronaut, and that is The Apollo Murders. I do think that an alternate past is something that I would be interested in. I do like historical fiction and stuff like that, but I've never read one that dealt with space travel. So it sounds interesting, and I know it's part thriller. 1973, a final top mission secret to the moon, 3 astronauts in a tiny spaceship, 250,000 miles from home, 250,000 miles from help. That's kind of the tagline from it, but I I don't know. Did I lose interest in this? Maybe. But if I don't read it in the next 12 months, it's going. It's got to go. Now, this one is an odd one to have on the list because I should have read this already, but that's why it's here. That is why it's here. This is about Vlad the Impaler, so I should have read this. There's no reason that I shouldn't have read this. But for some reason, like I said, it's been glossed over in TBRs and everything like that. This is historical fiction, and I do think it might actually be YA historical fiction. But it's about treasure hunters who find Vlad's ring, and it's a gothic tale about adventuring through the Carpathian Mountains. So, like, come on. Why haven't I read this? Someone tell me. I should have read this already. I mean, I'm tempted to just read it now, but I do have like 3 books that I'm currently reading, so probably not the best idea to set them aside to read this, but I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I am always looking for Gothic recommendations. This is a book that was actually recommended to me because it follows the Gothic style of storytelling. And that's all I know about it. That's really all I know about it. But I happened to find it, The Lake House by Kate Morton. Yeah, that's all I know. And that might be why I haven't gravitated towards this one. But it could be good. It could be good. Is this not the one? Like, there's a movie. Isn't there a movie, The Lake House? I don't know. But I want to give it a shot. And like I said, let's either read it or get rid of it. You know, moving on. This will be another one that you guys saw in my Unhaul With Me video. I talked about it. I love The Secret Life of Bees. I really love that book. And I have read The Mermaid Chair. It was okay. And I think that has made me reluctant to pick up Sumant Kit again. But I have the Book of Longings. And I think I will like it. I hope I will like it. This one, though, it says an extraordinary story set in the 1st century about a woman who finds her voice in her destiny. But this is set in like biblical times, which I've never really read much from biblical times before, other than the Bible. So I think this could be really interesting. I just don't know what to expect. And so, like, have you guys read this? I know I'm talking to a big bunch of fantasy readers, but I know there's a couple of you that read outside the box. And I'd really like to know. Have you read it? Do you like it? Should I pick this up? Am I going to enjoy it? Yeah, let me know. Oh, The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. Now, I bought this over a year ago and still haven't read it, but I love this cover. You guys might not be able to see it. Like, the little dots on it are reflective. It's really pretty. And I know Vish really liked this book, but I haven't really heard anything about it. And it says, if you knew the date of your death, how would you live your life? And there's another that I want to read called The Measure that has that same type of tagline, but I really, really want to read this one and then read The Measure and compare. I would really love to do that, but that means I have to actually read this one. So that is why this one is coming up for this video. I need to either read it or get rid of it and then move on to The Measure and, you know. But will I like it? I don't know. Me and Vish have similar reading tastes, but also have very differing reading tastes sometimes, so it would be interesting to find out if I like this one. And then we have Departure by A.G. Riddle. I have had this for a really, really long time. The world's past and future rest in the hands of 5 unwitting strangers in this time-traveling, mind-bending speculative thriller. So I have not read very many speculative thrillers, but I'm kind of excited to. But this has sat on my shelves for over a year. Even though it sounds really good. And I'm like, you gotta read it. You gotta read it or get rid of it. And then last, we have a young adult series that I own all 3 of the books, and I still have not read them. That would be Fury Born by Claire Legrand. I want to get to this one. I really do. But for some reason, I don't reach for it, and I think it's because it's dual timeline. And I knew that when I bought it. Granted, it was purchased for me for Christmas, so I knew that when someone else bought it for me, and I added it to a wish list so someone could buy it for me. But yeah, I want to read it, I think. But I either need to read it or get rid of it because I have all 3. And they're gorgeous books. Like, they're beautiful. They're stunning. But I know this is about, it says 2 queens will rise. They will carry the power of the 7. They will carry your fate in their hands. I know that this is supposed to be a little spicy and fantasy, so this could very well fall into my fantasy with a great romance plot or great romance with a great fantasy plot. And maybe, we'll see. But these are 10 books that I have decided will self-destruct in 1 year's time. And like I said, this is an idea I borrowed from Becca in the Books. I will link her in the description box so you guys can check her out. She is actually the person I go to for fantasy romance recommendations because they're really hard to come by. And even though we don't agree on fantasy, we tend to agree on fantasy romance. So I would really like for you guys to check her out if you have not yet done so, and maybe you'll get some more fantasy romance recommendations. But like, subscribe, do all the fun things. I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget I have a Patreon if you would like to support my channel. Bye!